Well, he sees mine all the time. He's met his birth mom. But your mom and dad, what will you tell him? I don't know. Stories. But which ones? Philip persisted. History is about the future. What will you tell him about where you came from? A street lamp flickered outside on the park. Pablo shifted on Julian's chest, maneuvering his thumb into his mouth, and sighed peacefully. The world was silent again. Out of nowhere, Julian remembered a painting he saw many times as a kid. It was one of his mom's favorites, a Magritte at the Menil collection in Houston. He and his mom used to stare at it for what seemed like hours. A painting of a house in both day and night. A blue, sunlit sky at the top, until the eye traveled down to the dark roof of a house, and shadowy trees, and a street lamp in the nighttime. Gently, Julian kissed Pablo's head and looked out at the park. He thought about the night and dawn, and his mom and dad and other people who were gone. And he wondered which stories to tell. Part 1. Love. Chapter 1. The Man with the Muddy Boots. For the first time in her life, Lacey Adams paid attention in church. There was nothing special about the service that Sunday. Her dad sat beside her, blank-faced as usual. Junior doodled in the hymnal. Her mom fanned the wet Gulf air blowing in from Harlingen, while the familiar calls of green jays floated through the open windows. But that morning Lacey felt different. She had just learned the scientific method at the end of the school year, and her teacher said it applied to everything but the Bible. And ever since then, Lacey had looked at the world with narrower eyes, tingling with a sense that asking questions, using her mind, could unlock mysteries around her. She sat forward in the pew and listened. The pastor told the story of beautiful Queen Esther, a Jew in a hostile land who loved her people and saved them from slaughter when she revealed herself as one of them. And now, today, the pastor preached, let us pray for the freedom-seeking people behind the Iron Curtain, under the soulless Soviet grip, who have to hide themselves like Esther to survive. After the sermon, the congregation rose to pass the peace. Lacey and Junior hopped to their feet, but they could never reach any hands to shake. The Adams family had a pew reserved for them, front and center, and no one sat in the pew behind them. A distance the farmers kept out of respect, Lacey knew, to give her family more of God's light. She watched her parents lean over the empty pew, but when her dad stuck out his hand and said, "Peace be with you," a farmer with a thick beard just stared at it, keeping his own calloused hands on his belt buckle. "Not while you're still around," the man growled, loud enough to hear, and turned his back to them. Her dad didn't blink. He turned to his wife and shook her hand, and then Lacey's and Junior's for good measure. The service resumed. Lacey could tell that her mom was seething, but she didn't speak as they filed outside and piled in the red Buick and drove home. She held her tongue while she warmed the pot roast and set the table. She led them sharply through grace. The nerve, she huffed when they started eating. The disrespect. Inside First Baptist. After all we've done for them, to refuse to shake your... Lacey's dad lifted his hand for silence. The family watched him sweep the last bites off his plate and run the good linen napkin over his mouth. "They're blowing off steam, Mary," he said, standing up. 2 days and it'll be over." He had changed before the meal, out of the Sunday suit and snakeskins he got in Houston, into dungarees and work boots. He settled his Stetson on his massive gray head and went out the door without a look or goodbye. Pure white trash.